To the second edition of the 2Touch podcast. Today I'm joined by Nathan, Ross, Brian, and we've got a substitute today instead of Gregor. We've got Stephen in.
Right,
Stephen. Today we're going to touch on the bid for Wembley, the game at the weekend, a couple of games at the weekend probably, the Champions League preview, and of course the kind of the big news that's breaking as we're doing this is Graeme Murty's left Rangers and who will come in after that. So we'll start with the kind of bid for Wembley that's been going on all week. Shahid Khan, the owner of Fulham and the Jacksonville Jaguars in the NFL, is supposedly bidding over £1 billion for Wembley now. So, Stephen, what's your thoughts on that?
I can see why the FA would look for the money, but the fact that taxpayers' monies went into building Wembley when it was getting rebuilt, I feel it'd be a bit of a slap in the face to taxpayers. And I've seen the argument that if they sell Wembley, they'll need to take the games around the country, but you can do that anyway. You've got amazing stadiums down south. You've got Old Trafford, Anfield, Stamford Bridge. I just think it'd be a bit daft if they were to sell Wembley, considering the amount of money that's been put into it.
I think in terms of if they're just worried about fans and watching England games, like they don't fill Wembley. Wembley is the biggest stadium in England, but
the record's like 75,000. That was Portsmouth that were playing.
Yeah.
I think it was like a league playoff.
well,
Spurs
Tottenham have had more.
Spurs have done
Tottenham
that
have filled more than England friendlies. I mean, obviously they've got UEFA Nations League games coming up against Spain, Portugal, whoever's in their group, but they're not gonna. Obviously, they're worried about they want to own it themselves and decide when they play games. But I think it's more of where the money goes than anything.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing. Like, if they get this 800 million, like, where's it going?
Well, that's the ultimate question there. I mean, do they put it back into grassroots football, or do they try and invest more money into big massive teams that they do all the time?
But they don't, because this is what I wrote last year, is that they don't put money into grassroots football. It's why players aren't progressing. Like, they just don't do it. Like, they don't provide pitches, they don't provide goals, they don't provide footballs.
I think all the outcries because of the emotion of it, and I don't.
Yeah.
Obviously, being for Scotland, I don't really care.
Would you be the same way if Hampden was to be sold?
No.
I don't care.
I
don't.
It's a horrible state. Let's see the old Hampden compared to the new Hampden. That's just miles different.
I don't
But
think.
then,
I
how
don't
many
know.
countries outside of the UK have a set national team stadium?
Well, the ones-
Spain
Spain
don't, do
do.
they? Does Spain not play in Valencia Stadium?
Spain,
I mean, pretty much everybody does aside for Spain and
I
Germany
think the big
because the Dutch have the Amsterdam Arena, Johan Cruyff Arena.
I think
whatever it's called now.
Italy's
put
a
the
bit.
Stadio Olimpico.
Italy's got the Stadio Olimpico, but they usually move about. They use like
Yeah.
the new Juventus Stadium.
But they've got a smaller pool than Spain and England and that have.
You did get that in Scotland. Obviously, they played friendlies at Easter Road as well, and some at Pittodrie.
I think it would be less because it's where fans travel from. A lot of them, like you see all the banners with England, it's like kind of Wolves England fans, Barnsley, Portsmouth, wherever. They're all kind of situated like down south. There's no big, there's no set fan group for like Man United fans, Liverpool fans, Chelsea fans that support
I mean,
England.
that's it, like World Cups, you see German.
And a lot of them aren't situated around London, so they would still go and watch England. But I think it would be interesting to see whether they move about England to play because of who they're playing. Like, it would be fine to go to 40,000 Stamford Bridge if it was like a Malta game or something, because 80,000 fans aren't going to watch Malta.
Yeah.
And it'd also be nicer to see, because the ugliest thing I see is, and you even get at FA Cup finals, is it's split and there's just the corporate bit in the middle and it's always empty 5 minutes after the start of every half. It's just annoying to see.
Well, like you said, I think Shahid Khan has recently said as well that he wants a World Cup final at Wembley. Should he buy it, which is looking increasingly likely, and he also wants to host a Super Bowl at Wembley. Because obviously that's
what I'm saying.
I think that's the point in him buying it, because he's going to want to
do you
start
think he would try
an
and
NFL
get
team.
Do you think he'll try and get Jacksonville Jaguars games now, like a lot more often?
I mean, that's where they kind of play anyway.
Yeah.
Now,
And the demand's there for the NFL. There's loads and loads. It's a growing sport over here. It's actually getting massive over here now. There's a lot more people watching it.
But then have they not just signed the new contract to play at Tottenham's new stadium more than Wembley?
I don't
So
know.
they're playing more games at the new White Hart Lane of NFL than they are at Wembley.
Spurs' new stadium has that, that
specific-
under turf.
The
Yeah,
double
so
the
they
shooting.
can play.
underturf to the
Yeah.
NFL, so
The thing about wanting to play the World Cup at England, the Wembley is, that's not for his choice. I know he wants it, and
Yeah.
I imagine England fans will want that as well. But they have to actually go and bid and get the World Cup at England, and they've got the stadiums for it without Wembley to host such an event.
well, is Euro 2020 not just
Everywhere.
Europe?
Aye.
So would
Champions
they not
hosted.
Yeah.
try and bid to get the final for Wembley, or is that already set?
I think it might already be at Wembley, to be honest.
Yeah.
The thing that I find strange is like they've not put it up for sale like at an
Yeah.
auction.
He's
Like,
just kind of came in and
he's
said.
came in and went, I'll give you
It's
800 million for the stadium.
It would be like somebody knocking on your door and going, can I buy your house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, it's not for sale, but I'll give you this much. Alright, let's talk. You know what I mean? It's,
They're in the
but
position.
we'll not put a
with-
sign in the
Aye.
garden telling anybody else it's for sale.
They're in the position with like they could put up and say, well, we're getting 800 million. Is there any more people that are going to bid? Because I'd imagine that. I mean, you're going to make a lot of money off Wembley when you think about
I
it.
don't think
Final is at Wembley.
I don't think there's no point in selling it. They've only just been built just over
Yeah.
11 years now, like
That's it,
exactly
yeah.
11 years
Euro
or something.
2020, both semi-finals and the final will be at Wembley.
So it's already set. So what's the point in him asking for that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's not. I think he said World Cup final, which would obviously then mean England would need to host it,
Yeah.
But they have to.
and he'd then. Well, unless they're going to do it, but that's a lot more strenuous than a Euros, because there's people complaining about having to go to Ukraine for games. Never mind having to maybe fly to Buenos Aires for
I think this whole
a group game and then
this
come
whole
to
Euros
Russia.
across Europe is
A bit
It's
daft.
strange.
it's stupid. Like, see if you want to go watch a team.
So
they're
does that
playing
mean
a-
there's no host
supposed to
then?
be
that
one-off,
everyone
but
does that
it's
mean
meant to be-
everyone has to qualify and there's no host? Is that how it's
Yes.
working?
Aye, I think
Yeah.
so. 12 host countries, so
Mhm.
kind of get 12 immediately in.
Yeah.
Unless they're counting England.
But
as
unless
the
they're saying
host.
Scotland, because I mean that's how we're only going to get in, is it?
Well,
If you
Well, I
host
thought
it.
they said the Hamden might not be used. It's not suitable or
I
something.
think-
like
I think-
No,
Hampden
Hampton.
is- I'm sure.
Hampton
Why would
is-
it not be suitable? I wonder why that'd be brought up.
that.
Because it's not very
The
good.
lack of atmosphere that it generates.
No, aye.
The general
We'll
smell
get
surrounding the
London, Munich, Rome, Baku,
Mount Flora isn't that bad, boys.
St.
Come on.
Petersburg, Bucharest,
Well,
Dublin, Amsterdam, Bilbao.
surprised that Lisbon
I know.
has not got in.
They've got a few brilliant stadiums. Stadio Dilution. Are you using the Copenhagen's home and all? That's odd.
Perhaps not.
So, just going to talk about the Celtic Rangers game that happened at the weekend as well. That was a bit one-sided, wasn't it?
It was expected, I think.
What did we all say for predictions
Well,
last week?
I
Brian
predicted.
said 5-1.
I did predict
did.
5-1. I gave them a goal
Was that,
from
that
somewhere.
was a bit flattering, Ryan.
It was just.
That wee bit
We
of-
all laughed.
I
though, we
don't.
were like, oh, what are
I'm,
you thinking
I'm
there?
trying not to gloat, but you can obviously tell where my allegiances lie. But Celtic were just amazing on Sunday. They just controlled the game.
Do you think it
start
was
to
Celtic
finish.
being amazing, or do you think it was just Rangers being
Well, it was a
incredibly
bit of
poor?
both, I'd say.
Because see when you see let's see for the first goal, I can't remember who it was in the wing, but see Days defending. What was he doing?
School
It was- it was-
It was
it
last.
Yeah, I know-
last
I know
season,
he's a winger, but-
He done that for 90 minutes.
Yeah,
He's
like,
done this before, though. I've watched.
there was one at Halliday as well. The ball get floated over, and he was trying to shield it out the bottom. I'm like, mate, just get rid of the
I will have
lines.
nothing bad said about Halliday at all. He is
I
a
can't believe
great
Celtic
guy.
were chanting him and Morelos else's name. It's
That-
unreal.
I was there at the game on Sunday, and the atmosphere was just incredible. It was totally different than any other game I'd ever
I
been
don't
to.
know.
It
I
was just-
felt it was a bit weird.
it was weird. It was
Because I felt that a lot of our fans after a while would just kind of decided they're just another team now.
I
Just
think
with
they are.
the same
Yeah.
people that we really don't like in the corner, but
that's due to
Was
them, though.
Was it not McLeish that came out today and said that Rangers, the game needs the Rangers to be stronger? And then we saw the point on Twitter that was, yeah, but Aberdeen are always competing. Motherwell, who have done two cup finals this season, Kilmarnock and Hibs both reaching almost their best points tally in years. So the game's growing, Rangers aren't, and I think Rangers fans really need to kind of address
That's
this.
That's the
They're
thing.
not
It's
that
always
dangerous.
it's always on a timer. All these dinosaurs coming out. It's him or Souness or whoever.
McCulloch.
McCulloch as well. They're all the same. They always come out and say, "Oh, they need a strong Rangers, this and that." And it's just so repetitive and it's actually boring out, and no one listens to them anyway. So
I'd personally make the argument that Scottish football's thrived since Rangers have went to the third division. Obviously Celtic have like won 7 on a row now, but if you look at since Rangers went down, you'd Kilmarnock win the League Cup, you'd Hearts Hibs in a Scottish Cup final. You've had teams that traditionally don't really get to cup finals,
St
like
Johnstone.
challenging St Johnstone, exactly.
St Mirren, yeah, St
St
Mirren.
Mirren as well. So
I'll be interested to see him come back up.
I don't buy
Yep,
in.
very.
I don't buy into the fact that Scottish football needs a strong Rangers. It's not Scottish football's problem, but
It would make it more
Rangers
competitive, definitely, but
I think the whole. They really don't like the whole. They like to think that they've been kicked when they were down and that no one's tried to help them. But with, if any other team,
Do you think?
see if Kelly had went bust like Rangers,
Look at
Do you
Dundee
think
United.
is it not kind of expose other teams though? Because see, Rangers not being there, that extra place went to a championship team. So has that not kind of kept Ross County and Thistle safe these last few years?
well, you can make the case for all teams like that. Even Kilmarnock was Hamilton Accies, teams that are clinging on, but you know they didn't ask Rangers to go and do what they did.
Yeah.
You
Gotta
know, like
remember-
that was none of their concern. So
Gotta
the fact that
remember-
Rangers went down and went back to the ranks, and look at your Hibs and your Hearts, who have got both went down and came back up, and they've thrived. Rangers
No.
came up and they've done nothing.
Dundee
Yeah.
United doing the same. So
the
they're
thing
down
is
and-
Yeah,
the
well,
league.
United haven't come back
yeah,
up.
they haven't come back up.
The
so.
league was reconstructed in order to make it easier for Rangers to come up through the leagues
yeah.
because
It's
of the
thing
playoffs.
they all say it's yous all kicked us out. I mean,
But-
if it was say St Johnstone it wouldn't bust, would Rangers go? Oh no, just keep them in. It's alright.
But their fans say every single game, no one likes us, we don't care, but yet we're supposed to care. I don't get that at all. But hey ho.
It's remarkable just to see like. I was expecting us. Me and Greg predicted 3-1 last week, and I thought it would be a tight game. The first 11 minutes, Rangers weren't actually. They were composed on the ball. They maybe weren't obviously
They
the
didn't
most.
have the ball for 11 minutes.
That was probably
Yeah,
why
but
they were
they
composed.
went to Parkhead, knowing that Celtic would go at them. They were see when they had the ball. They weren't kicking it out of the park. They weren't like getting rid of it. They were actually showing a wee bit of composure. And the minute that first goal went in, it just felt like pieces.
Well, I
It's
think,
just-
but because I missed the first 10 minutes, but between the first goal and the second goal, they had one shot maybe.
They had a good few
Murphy,
chances.
wasn't it? It was Murphy.
A great ball that Murphy played as well.
It was alright. It was alright.
To hold.
Was a whole aye.
That was
I
a
noticed.
pass to be
I
fair.
noticed the first 10 minutes that the way Brown was playing a more conservative role in that game, and he kind of gave Encham the limelight to just go out and perform. And
I think he done that by being quite poor.
I think
Scott
so.
Brown was very good at the weekend.
I thought it was
I'd
alright.
agree with you. I think Scott Brown didn't need to be good in that game.
No.
I'd
I don't think any of them need to be good.
Yeah,
That Rangers
I'd
squad was
actually
poor.
make the argument like the same team, this Rangers team came to Celtic Park at New Year and
Probably should have beat
drew
us.
0-0 and the chances Morelos hit the post, Gordon making great saves. I'd make the point that the Rangers players have chucked it.
They have,
Right.
See
definitely.
since
That's what I said
see since the
last week.
3-2 game at Ibrox, I think they've chucked it.
Yeah.
I think they've just something's happened.
They've got to
something's happened in
see-
that dressing room.
One thing that I find quite funny that Rangers was their one Young Player of the Year nominee who was up for the award, Morelos, didn't even get Player of the Year for Rangers, which I
Yeah.
thought was quite funny
Who
because
did win Rangers Player of the Year?
Can
Oh, I
do
saw
it.
was them trying to storm it.
the Rangers fans
I
weren't
wonder who
quite
won
happy.
Manager of the Year.
That goes on to our next point. That goes on to our next point about Murty, doesn't it?
It does.
I think
so.
maybe hop back and keep on the game for a second. I think you need to comment on how good Odsonne Edward and James Forrest were.
Forrest got his first
One
goal
of
for
the most-
Neil Firm, didn't he?
One,
That was his
one of the
first.
most complete centre forward performances I've seen at Parkhead in a while. I know, again, the opposition wasn't excellent, but it was just his movement, as everyone's commented on before.
This one.
He's he's so intelligent and he's got everything about him as well.
That's one thing I noticed about Eddie. He's a lot.
Oh, Eddie.
Yeah, French
You know,
Eddie.
Is it?
French Eddie, as he's affectionately known. One thing I noticed, he's a lot faster than Dembele as well. Like he's got pace to burn, and it's almost unexpected. I don't think Tavernier expected him to be that fast either. Because the
I
way
think Tavernier knows he's right for his left.
he's
Tavernier
supposed to be the
still likes to
captain.
Dembele's not slow though.
No, Dembele's not slow. It's just Edward's really fast for his height.
Yeah, I think his second finish just showed his quality. Just to kind of go, I'll pop it in the far corner then.
Across the keeper. Yeah.
Through Russell Martin, and then no chance for probably any goalkeeper there.
Well, speaking of the mighty Rangers and their crumble, it's a quality segue there. It looks like Murty Mania has officially left Rangers. Murty Mania has officially stopped. I mean, the Bantamers haven't, but
Is he still coming in as an interim manager?
no, there's I think it's is it Jimmy Nicholl and someone
Jimmy
else?
Nicholl.
It's Jimmy Nicholl and someone else are doing to the rest of the season.
Jonathan Johansson.
Yeah, Jonathan Johansson, which last week after we were writing off how we didn't think Gerrard was getting the job, every day it looks like he's more and more likely to get it. It's a risk, isn't it, if Gerrard gets it?
I'll reiterate what I said last week. If Gerrard gets it, I'm still not worried.
I don't think he should be for a number of years anyway. I mean,
He's never managed anything other than under 19s.
other than a contacts book, what has he really got?
Even at that, is his contact's going to be any good if they can't? Because they can't afford to pay David Bates £7,500 a week. That's why he's away at Hamburg.
I
You know
think
what I mean? If they can't pay David
with
Bates,
Gerrard,
that-
he's coached Liverpool's under 18s this season. I think they finished third. United finished first, City finished second, and they done under 19s Champions League with Liverpool. I think they got beat in the semi-final by Man City. So his way of playing, he's set a way of playing that's different to Klopp. But I think if he has his formation set out and knows what he wants, then he can do something.
Sure.
But I think it's brave of him in a managerial sense. He's done what Giggs hasn't done, and he's taken that step. He's taking the chance that his managerial career could end before it's even started.
Surely.
But I don't think he should ever be judged on the job that he's doing at Rangers.
Well, if he does get the job at Rangers, there has to be a massive clear out there.
Yeah.
And the Rangers have had a few of them where they've just had to get rid of, strip down basically their whole team and start again, which could be viewed in a bad way and a good way. But do you think they're going to give him and like see the likes of Caixinha who get 10 million? Do you think they're going to give him that sort of money
they don't
again?
have it to give him.
No.
But
It depends who they sell and how they sell and when.
well,
Because-
they've got Carlos Pena out on loan who's just been sacked. They're paying their £20,000 a week wages for pissing in a fountain. So I mean, it just shows you what kind of
He's still
state
on
the
their
club
books.
is.
He's
Yeah.
going to be
Do they
back
have
for the
£20,000 a
season.
week or something like that.
Is Caixinha still getting a payout, or did he get it all at once?
Don't know.
I think he get
I think
paid all
Alan
at
Nicholas
once.
is still getting a
Yeah.
pay at this rate.
But I think Gerrard has shown as a captain that he can unite a dressing room.
Yeah,
in
he's a leader,
situations.
but he needs someone out in the field as well that can be just basically a mini Gerrard. And who's he got out there?
Jordan
Don't know.
Rossiter.
Oh,
He's out for 7 to 10 days.
I think the whole that thing's a bit baseless because we've seen before another one for his generation say there's a great leader, motivated everybody on the park, was the driving force behind a lot of the good that Man United. Gary Neville went to a far bigger club with. I know Valencia were in a bit of a rut, but
I wouldn't
Yeah,
judge
we
him on
have
that. I think
a
Yeah,
lot more-
that's hard.
a lot more resources.
There's a difference between Spain and Scotland, but
It's a tougher job to go into Rangers than it was to go to
is it?
Valencia.
But I mean, you're going up against like Atletico and Real Madrid, whereas Steven Gerrard will be going up against
But it's
Alan
not
next season.
Atletico and Real Madrid he was judged against. It was Alaves.
That
it
is
was-
that is
It's
true.
not,
Even
as
if
if,
you have
it's
point.
not as if he was inheriting
Neville
a bad
also
squad
didn't do
in
youth coaching or
Valencia
anything like
either.
that. Neville
But
went straight into
How,
punditry.
how
from
many
retirement.
teams would in the Spanish league and the Scottish league go to Spain and get results? I think
But that's not the point.
but Valencia are much bigger than the
Valencia
Still
are a
fake.
big
It's,
team.
but it's all the same qualities that everyone's saying Gerrard's got, and Neville couldn't do it.
Well,
so why is Gerrard going to come and do something with nothing?
Neville went straight from retirement to punditry within
So
2
did
weeks.
Gerrard, pretty much.
No, but he's doing under 18s at the same time. Neville's first job was Valencia, and they were in a
That's-
state before he came.
So
They now
Rangers-
have new
Was it-
owners, and they're doing pretty good.
Was it Nuno that replaced him? The one that's at Wolves just now?
100%.
I think so. No.
He's been not-
Neville replaced Nuno.
Was it?
Yeah.
Neville. The argument
Because he was at Porto at that point.
Yeah, the argument I would make is it's a risk, like no matter
Yeah,
what.
it is a
'Cause
risk,
the
but
Rangers fans will point to Souness when he came in '86,
Mm.
but when Souness came in '86, he had the biggest pot of money in British football. English
Yeah.
teams were banned for Europe. He signed the England captain
Mhm.
in Terry Butcher. So I'd say it's a risk, and I've seen Rangers fans go, "Oh, look at Guardiola and that," but
no.
Guardiola had a team of Xavi, Iniesta, and Messi.
And money to buy
And
around
Every
them.
manager's a
money.
risk, but
And
For Rangers.
every manager is a risk.
for the
but
kind of calibre
what
they can
Rangers,
attract.
what Rangers need right now is someone who knows Scottish football. Celtic have done 7 and they're going for 10. and if he falls flat on his face, that's another year gone.
Who do you
What?
think should get the Rangers job, or who would you appoint if you're the Rangers board?
Hard question, but they went after McInnes, obviously, and get him, but they're needing someone with a bit of experience.
Jack Ross.
Even I'd say
I don't think they can go for McInnes again because he's shown he doesn't want to be there.
I know St Johnstone had a bad season this year, but Tommy Wright's proven yet again, with a budget, he can get in the top 6. He's won a cup. He knows Scottish football inside out. You should be looking at people like that. Even I know they said they approached Steve Clark, and he came out and said not. They've not approached him, but
They said
He'd
it for a
been a-
third party.
he would have been like an ideal manager for
Clark
the job.
said many a time, but he's just not interested in the job.
Yeah.
I mean, if Steve
I
Clark
just-
does go, I would take down my shine in my bedroom because it's just it'd break my heart.
I just
But
don't
then
think
you
I
were
just think
saying-
Steven Gerrard's the answer, to be honest.
But then you're saying if Gerrard comes in and falls flat on his face, what counts as falling flat on his face? Like if he finishes second, he does not deserve to get sacked.
That's true, but look at this season. Rangers don't have second guaranteed.
Yeah.
I know, but
They
it's
finished
not.
fourth.
It's not like
Yeah,
they're.
I don't think they will.
I think they'll
at all.
finish fourth.
It's
I
not like
fancy
they're
Rangers to
20
lose
plus
their last
points
three games.
behind like last season.
Yeah,
Like
there's been
last-
an improvement.
Last season,
But has
Pedro
that
kept
has
his
that been
job.
an improvement in the teams around
is that
Celtic,
just-
or has
is
that
that
been
just-
Celtic
I
just
think
lowered
it's just been
standards?
Celtic not as good this season because
Celtic have
9
done 9
draws.
games this season.
How many points has Rangers took off Celtic this season?
2.
Two.
Two.
So it's other teams around in Scottish football that are taking the points off of Celtic. It's not Rangers going and winning games.
Rangers' downfall this season's been at home. They've lost
yeah.
so many games that they should have probably won. I know it's bad to assume you go
But
into
then I
every
think
game winning at home.
That's
but
down to fan discontent and what they want. They need to lower their expectations.
But they
it's
won't.
difficult though for them. It's difficult
Yeah.
to do that.
I think the Rangers fans are
They
really
can't.
short-tempered.
So are Celtic fans.
Yeah,
Is
but
it-
you
yeah,
don't
yeah,
really have a
like
right
used
to
to-
you don't really have a right to moan,
I know, but
do
you're
you?
used to the success.
No, of course, but you look at Rangers the last 4 years of
But
success
they
on winning
they
the. in the
they still see themselves as, oh, we should be winning this, we should be winning that.
well,
they
you'd make the argument
won't.
that they should be going with the wages that they've got. They should still be competing, and maybe not for the league, but for at least for the
But
cups. They should.
they need to just stop signing shite.
Oh, of course, and I think
Graham Dorrans.
I think
Did you not see the thing and it was I think Graham Dorrans now needs to call Olivier and Cham Daddy
Jesus.
because he was just that bad. Yeah, every time I've watched Graham Dorrans, I thought he's never a football player.
I think
you could
you're,
point to
you're
everyone.
also right with Gerrard coming in about United dressing room. There's no one there that can help him do that already. And
No.
bringing someone in isn't going to help because they're completely new to the situation. So
yeah, I seen a stat on Twitter today saying that this year Rangers have obviously they've had 2 managers and 7 captains in a season.
Yeah,
That just shows a real lack
You
of
look at
leadership.
their
Also
team.
seen a-
You look at their team on Sunday, and there's no one player that you think, oh, aye, he'll get them up for it.
Mhm.
You know what I mean, in the Celtic team, you've got obviously Scott Brown, Kieran Tierney,
Local boys that know the
Lustig,
game.
yeah.
Lustig to an extent.
Players that want to play for Celtic.
Whereas, well, I mean, but that's not even the argument because Graham Dorrans has always been a Rangers fan. Jason Holt's a Rangers fan.
You
know
need
what I
to know the
mean?
basics before
Andy
you
Halliday
see.
is a Rangers fan.
Yeah.
None of them can get anybody up for it.
That's because
They
they
need to
can't
be
actually
good-
play football.
yeah, then need to be able to play football.
Aye.
yeah, I
Jason Holt kind of can. Halliday can't. Dorrans is
Past it.
past it. If
Even
you
Russell
ever-
Martin.
was
Russell
never-
Martin at the
Russell
back
Martin-
is.
Dorrans,
I-
Dorrans
I
was
heard
never
s-
at it to be past
Yeah,
it.
Dorrans
I heard
was
someone.
Dorrans
I
was
heard.
never
I
a
heard
good
someone
football
on Super Scoreboard the other day saying, "Never mind the worst defender we've ever had. Russell Martin's the worst player we've ever had."
Well, no, I wouldn't take it that far.
player. No, they've had some absolute.
I mean, Philip Sebo springs to mind for a start.
Philip Sebo who scored a brace against Chelsea and nothing else.
Yeah.
Andy Halliday's still in the team, so he's not even the
Yeah.
worst
You
player.
can point
they've
to
got
anyone
now.
in the team, in the Rangers team now and say that they're just they're shocking because they are shocking. They're not playing.
I
Absolutely.
mean,
don't want to play
with,
for
with
Rangers.
Andy Halliday, you can kind of tell he grew up across from Ibrox with his stature and his kind of slimness, can't you? So.
Wow.
Social commentary
uncovered that.
Burger fans are they?
These comments do not reflect the views of the 2Touch community.
Well, they do a wee bit.
Well, speaking of the comings and goings at Ibrox and the managers, Roberto Mancini's just recently got the Italy job, been confirmed this morning. So, what do you think he's going to do with that squad? Obviously, Buffon's on his way out. It's an aging squad. He's got Chiellini.
We touched on this last week about how they
it's
kind of need
an agent.
to. The team's a wee bit aging, but we need to kind of establish what's the formation going to be,
Yeah.
because as we
That's
touched
what I
on.
was gonna ask. Did they
yeah.
stick with a back 3 or a back 4?
Nah,
Doesn't matter,
Mancini
Mario
has-
Balotelli.
Mancini has to go
Balotelli's a
four at
good
the
player
back.
when he's up for it.
I don't. Mancini's never been success. He's never tried 3. I don't think he can with the defenders. I
Yeah.
think.
I think it was the wing backs that we kind of highlighted as they don't produce great wing backs.
Well, they have Florenzi and they have
That
what,
new- that-
Deschilio and Damian. I think.
No, get that new
Is
boy
Dar-
from Milan as
Is
well.
Darmian really a
That's
great
Milan.
a great
Aye.
wing back?
I think he
Matteo
He can do
Darmian.
a job, but
He's not a great. He's solid. See if you put him in a team with like
yeah, he's a safe
something
option.
to do.
He's
Yeah.
a safe option if you're
But
But
protecting
then
a lead, but
who do you play centre half? Because
You've got
obviously
I'd say
Regani, Daniele
you've got
Regani, and then it was probably going to be Davide Astori.
yeah.
You've got
Yeah.
Not really
Romanelli
household
from
names,
Milan.
are they? For a
No. But
I think
Regani's got bags of potential.
I think
Regani's a
Chiellini can
quality
still.
player.
Chiellini and Bonucci can still be there. I think.
Yeah.
Would you have Bonucci in after the season he's had?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so-
I think he's just put. I think it's been unfair. He's kind of. Bonucci took the captaincy and put all the responsibility on his shoulders.
If
I mean, they've not exactly crumbled,
And
but
it's,
they've not been
the thing that
amazing.
Italy have lacked recently a lot is a good number 9 to stick it in the net.
Yeah.
Apart from Ciro Immobile,
Yeah.
there's nobody really, because Andrea Bellotti's fell off quite a bit. Mario Balotelli will of course be back in the team because Roberto loves him.
No, he doesn't.
remember that back heel for Man City?
Oh, was that
think-
In the
the
friendly,
MLS
yeah.
Friendly, yeah.
Uh,
I think we're forgetting as well that Zappacosta at Chelsea, who's got bags of pace. I mean, he's
I
not,
think
he's
you
not the
play
best option.
Florenzi right wing back. I think you have to.
Yeah, but
I
I'm
think
just-
he's
it-
ridiculous.
Oh, Florenzi definitely over Zappacosta, but you know, as
Mhm.
a backup, you've got like Zappacosta who's just
Mhm.
can run with the ball for years and then swing it in, so it's a
Mhm.
good option to
For
have.
me, they've got a world class centre midfielder in Marco Verratti.
Yeah.
and then
And
you can
they've
sit
got
Jorginho next to him.
got Jorginho next to him, but then there's a boy at Roma called Lorenzo Pellegrini
Yeah.
who
Yep.
has got bags and bags of potential. He just sits and pings balls, does it for fun. But for me, they need to go two up front because the amount of goals that Immobile has scored this season is
Do
disgusting.
you play Domenico Berardi off him?
No, I think
Berardi's fell away,
you
that's
you
the
could
thing.
go
Berardi has fell
you
away.
could go Immobile Belotti
Would you put?
because Mancini won a league with Dzeko and Aguero.
Belotti's got the pace.
Yeah, but that was a good fit. You know, a guy like Dzeko can win balls in the air and can score goals, whereas
Different.
Aguero does the running.
Because it's Dzeko's what 6'3",
Yeah.
6'4", whereas Immobile's
With
6 foot
Belotti,
and Belotti's 5'11" or something.
Belotti's quite small, aye.
was Belotti small?
He's
But
got
I
bags
think
of pace.
That
Be,
again.
be interesting to see who they play out in the wings. as
Well,
well,
they
'cause
have
you
it.
get
They've got
Sharari,
Insigne and they
Insigne.
have,
Insigne, El Sharari.
and obviously it's whether Domenico Berardi.
I don't think El Shaarawy's ever showed it enough.
No,
for
I don't
Italy.
think.
I was talking to Mark the other day. He's a big Roma fan. He says El Sharari's been brilliant this season for them.
Mhm.
But he was also brilliant for AC Milan before he went to the Euros, and
Yeah.
The biggest problem Italy have got is they've got good players that, like, you look at the Napoli team, they perform well in their club, but they just can't transfer
Transfer
that
it to
form to their national team, which is the biggest problem.
Mhm.
So you need to go for a manager that's going to get the best. He's only going to see these players so many times a year. He needs to get in a system they're all comfortable with playing. So they need to. Aye,
It's whether Mancini knows how to evolve a squad without money.
yeah. Well, that's the argument, isn't it?
he's got to. But I think that's the unfortunate thing in international management.
Yeah.
You can't develop the players yourself. You're relying on your clubs to help you out a bit.
Is replacing Buffon as simple as it sounds?
No.
No.
I don't
Well,
think- I don't
how
think
can you?
Aye.
You've got Donnarumma who's coming up. I don't think it's too early to say if he's going to be as good as they say. But I
think
mean,
he will be.
I think he's definitely got potential. He's got the stature, and he could be the Italy #1 for until like
He-
next 13 years if he wants to.
Well,
I've got no
he'll
doubt.
be-
Oh, aye, he
if
could.
he
Aye,
plays
he's
to his
just,
40, he's got another 20
depends how
years.
good he's going to turn out to
He's,
be.
he's a baby in goalkeeping terms, but I think he will be world class, but he's not world class yet. I mean, I think he showed that against Arsenal. He made some silly mistakes.
Yeah, but he'll fix
Italy, aye, he's got plenty of time. But
But if
Italy
you're
have got
throwing him in as the Italian #1, he's not got time to be able to, he'll fix it eventually.
Yeah.
He's got to do it.
he's got to do
He's
it.
got to
at
start
the
somewhere.
It doesn't,
It has-
matter,
it
it doesn't
has-
matter what age he is if you're being
Obviously, he has
number
2
one
years
for-
until a tournament,
Mm.
so
21 is still very, very young for
Yeah.
people.
Just to take you back to the Mancini point, like Mancini has shown that he can work under budgets. He went to Lazio when they had no money. He took them to a Coppa Italia final. They went to Fiorentina and done the exact same. They had no money, so he can show it. He's shown that he can work under budget constraints.
yeah.
But that's always levelled against him because he went into Milan and Juventus went down that season.
Mhm.
And there's points deductions and he just ruled the league for like 4 years. But I think it's a good appointment for Italy.
But I think what he showed is when he won the league with Man City the first time, he didn't know how to evolve the squad properly.
Yeah.
So he bought without selling. Obviously, he's not going to have that problem with Italy, but he needs to ship out old players, like while bringing in new ones at the same time. You can't keep kind of the same squad.
It seems like they're in a mesh a wee bit of the two of them put together. They've got some up and coming players, but they've still got the old guard there. It's going to be difficult
Mhm.
to go one way or the other. Obviously, they'll have to go the way of the new players, 'cause that's just the way football goes. But it's difficult because that's been their core for the last 6-7 years. It's difficult to replace
But
that.
they don't need to replace them all in the one goal. Like, you've seen
True.
Scotland in the recent friendlies, so they just try to embed a new team basically, and how it just didn't click straight away. Whereas
Costa Rica basically played us off the park.
yeah, exactly. Like you're chucking in young guys that don't have a lot of international experience. Whereas Italy can now just kind of go, right, this player's got a year or two left. They can just slowly over time embed the new players.
The Liverpool assistant, Busevac.
Don't ask me to pronounce it.
Buvac.
Is it Buvac? Yeah, I think so.
The one with the long hair, for those who aren't aware.
Obviously, he's
That wee
taking an
happy
extended,
guy.
Yeah.
he's an extended leave for Liverpool. He's nicknamed the Brain, Jurgen Klopp's assistant, and apparently he's linked with the Arsenal job now.
He was 4-1.
Well, it's
Paddy point.
4-1, 5-1. It's just come out of nowhere, really. It's a bit strange, but
It's kind of putting 2 and 2 together, isn't it? It's
Is it because
It's a
Arsenal
story.
there isn't really a big name candidate for Arsenal yet? Like they've not really pinpointed this player. Like
Thomas Tuchel's the one that's been rumoured very heavily, but
he's
again,
been with other teams as well.
I think I think people are blowing Thomas Tuchel far too far out of the water because
Yeah.
he was at Borussia Dortmund. I think Borussia Dortmund, people also overhype Borussia Dortmund.
are they just linking him because they have Mkhitaryan and Aubameyang already?
Probably, but I mean, again, I don't think. Again, Thomas Tuchel, everyone goes on about him. Oh, he's this great coach. I mean, he's never won anything.
he
I
didn't
know,
win
I
anything.
know
at
against
Borussia.
Bayern Munich, it's difficult, but it's not as if.
Klopp done
I
it.
mean, there's been a few
Right.
names like you get obviously Tuchel, Rodgers, and Graeme Murty now. So I mean, who else really is there that's going to take the Arsenal job?
Do you think does Tuchel have the pulling power to bring all
I don't
Dortmund
think
players
Not
with
yet,
him?
no.
If you
Depends what the board give him.
Which is
Even all Dortmund players, do you think would he bring Julian Weigl in, or does that not fit Arsenal?
I don't think they could afford Julian Weigl.
Well, I think now anything could fit Arsenal because they'll be getting a new manager in, so it'll be a clean slate. I think
I think
they've got to be more defensive minded.
I think the ideal candidate is Carlo Ancelotti.
That's what they are.
He's won. It's
I
three,
think so.
it's three
That's the
European
obvious
Cups.
choice,
Three
isn't it?
European Cups.
And now
We'd
he's
write
not.
him- we'd
And
write
now
him
he's
off
not,
to
and
the
now we
Italy
now we
job.
know he's not getting the Italy job.
Yeah, he's
so
not getting the Italy job. You don't see him. The PSG job's come up in the summer.
He's already had
gone
it.
through him, he's already had it.
Yep.
Arsenal's probably the biggest club in London. I'd imagine.
and he,
Well,
he wouldn't go back to. He's not going to go back to Chelsea. He's not going to go
I
back
think
to
it'd be an ideal
PSG.
fit for
He's not going to
Ancelotti.
go back to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
So
Aye.
He's a big spender, but whereas Arsenal, who Wenger has maybe hinted that in the past, that maybe the board always don't really willing to work with it.
But
He's got the
that's
players there already, but
Thing is-
1 or 2 free signings and that team could be changed.
One thing, he's a proven winner.
That's true.
He's won everywhere basically. I know he had a bit of a difficult spell at Bayern Munich, but it's always going to be difficult when you've got that expectation on you.
I think he just has to come and buy older players, more experienced heads, 3 years and then go, 2 or 3 years then go, see what you can win, because it would just be like a sort of refresh for Arsenal, and it gives them time to build of what they want.
I feel like they need to do a whole rebuild. They need to do just a refresh completely.
It's the mistake that Man United made in the first place. Mourinho should have came in then, rather than going to Chelsea. He should have came in then.
Yep.
Now you would see someone maybe like Carrick or Giggs come in, and they would have time to kind of build up.
It's easy looking at it in hindsight, isn't it? Too, but I mean, Pep. I mean, I'll bring up Man City again, but Pep. It was the right time as well.
That's
They
different.
got
They
it
they,
right.
they were building. They built their academy for Pep. They knew 5 years ago they were getting him.
I
Yes,
never
they
knew
knew
that.
5 years ago they were getting him,
They took a break
They had a
for
plan.
Bayern
I took
before,
a sabbatical.
and they done it. So
and he announced that he was going to Man City.
If
That was in
Ancelotti
deadline
gets
days,
the
wasn't it?
job,
I felt sorry for Pellegrini after that.
if Ancelotti gets the job, what would be seen as a success? Say he is there for 3 or 4 years. What's that success?
a title challenge. That's what they want.
He's
The
just got-
Arsenal
no, he's
fans
got to
want a
win the
title
league.
challenge.
If they get Carlo Ancelotti in the back of the hill with money, he's got to win the league for them.
That's the only thing I'd say about Ancelotti. He doesn't win.
He doesn't win
titles. He
leagues.
wins Champions Leagues.
Aye.
But
I
when
mean,
he was-
Arsenal aren't going to
But
complain
when he
about
was
that.
at,
Is
when
it
he was at AC
one-
Milan, he won Champions League, finished
He did.
second, third in Serie A. When he was at Real Madrid, he was against that Barca team.
He did win the double with Chelsea though in his
Yeah,
first
that's-
season.
that's
he's
true.
won,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
he's won more
He won the
European
double with
competitions
Chelsea
than
because
than domestic.
Man United sold Ronaldo and Tevez and replaced him with Michael Owen, Antonio Valencia, and Gabriel Obertan.
Drogba also had an incredible.
They won it.
season.
Overton, I
They
forgot
won it.
Overton was
He
a
won the
thing.
league on goal difference with Chelsea against Man
Did
United.
not go to the last game
Again.
of the season as
Last
well.
game of the season, they played Wigan and they won it. They won
Oh, I
8-0.
remember that.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
that's a Premier League years classic right there.
But he
This
had
guy's
kind of.
pushing the day.
I love that Premier League.
I think he had he got Drogba in his peak. He got had a Malouda as well.
Malouda in his peak as well. He had a great season. I remember he was always.
But
They
then
had
he
Deco
didn't.
as well that season.
He had Deco, but he didn't.
Was Michael Ballack still at the club at that
Yeah, he
time?
would have been.
So we'll move on. There's a lot of players. I have a list here of out of contract players in the summer, and some of them are going to shock you.
Hit me.
They're not going to necessarily be
Surprise
out of
me.
contract. Obviously, some of these will be offered
This is my
contracts.
scouting for Kilmarnock.
Some of them are in the late years of their career where they might sign a 1-year extension in the next few weeks. So we got Pepe Reina from Napoli, Rafinha from Bayern Munich, Chiellini from Juventus, Robert Huth at Leicester, Luke Shaw, Marouane Fellaini at Manchester United, Jack Wilshere at Arsenal, Yaya Toure, Robin Ribéry, Balotelli, Michel Vorm, Emre Can, Johan Cabaye, Hatem Ben Arfa, Fernando Torres, and Demba Ba.
That's not a bad team.
Forgot about Max Meyer as well.
And
Schalke.
Max Meyer is going to AC Milan.
Is
he going
to AC
I
Milan?
think so.
What a move
but
that is for AC Milan.
and obviously
anyway.
the other one was Goretzka, who's now going to Bayern Munich. So
Yeah.
So
Good
we'll
save.
start with the kind of biggest one with Robin.
Robin Ribéry and Chiellini, do you expect them to sign 1-year
I
extensions?
think Robin
at
will go
clubs?
back to PSV.
Do you think okay?
Seems
Outside
right.
shout.
Seems fitting to go
Outside
back.
shout.
End of his career.
Chiellini, I think he'll stay at Juventus.
Chiellini.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think Chiellini would sign an
He started getting
extension.
his games when they went down to the Serie B, so I can just see him doing a bit fun.
These sort of players always seem to get extensions after, like right after they win the league. 'Cause they've got that sort of honeymoon period after they win the league.
It's
So
like John Terry.
they'll-
a few
yeah, they'll
years
get-
ago, aye.
they'll get more of a sway with the fans. The fans will want
Well,
that.
Fernando Torres, we know, has been confirmed as leaving, so we know he's going.
Rumoured.
He's liking up
actually been
with,
swirling-
Do you think it's just
Steven
trying-
Gerrard's
he's
going to get
actually-
him for
it's been
Rangers.
swirling
Yeah.
about that he's been linked with Celtic as well.
Is he?
I can see them in like Pepe Reina, Torres, Yaya Toure. I can see them going MLS route.
Do you
Qatar
think
route.
Reina would stay at Napoli? An extension?
If they'd won the league this year, I think he would have. But now I think they've bottled it now. I can see him chucking it because I think the rumour is Sarri's going to go
Mm-hmm.
to Chelsea or something, and Signy's going as well.
Yeah.
Did we mention Iniesta and that?
Well, Iniesta's obviously now we know he's going,
He's-
but
but
it's
he's not
where he's
playing in
going.
Europe.
Iker Casillas is out
He's-
of contract as well.
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
Em-
did you see
retired.
Michel Vorm?
yes, Michel Vorm. He's 36. He's
Every time he
36
plays
now.
for Spurs, I think he actually has a decent game.
I
He's a
love
good.
Michel
Yeah, he's a
I
great
think
shot
I
stopper.
think that could be a shoe in for Celtic. Honestly,
He's
Take
36.
him.
Why
Would
not?
you
Is he
have him at-
36?
He's 36.
He's no finish. He's only
He's a
36.
goalkeeper, doesn't matter. As long as
Yeah.
he can keep a ball out, doesn't matter what ages.
Frank Ribery.
I think he's been on the decline for a few years now.
He was
See,
excellent against Real Madrid.
he was
the other
brilliant
night.
He's
against
not,
Real
he's
Madrid,
not been the
aye,
same
you're right.
level, I think.
Strangely enough, he's not really been injured this season.
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't
Injuries
see
have
it,
always
but
been his problem.
Yeah.
They've always curtailed him a wee bit. He's always been a world class player, at least for Bayern Munich anyway. But he always gets injured at pivotal times for them, and he's never really fully realised his potential in terms of.
Front Ribery's never failed to realise
Yeah, I think he's
Well,
had
I
a
think
great
he's
career.
great. I
He
think he's
should
a
have
great
won the
player.
Ballon d'Or in 2013.
Yeah, he should have. Yaya Toure.
Don't really care.
Who's going to take him? Because he'll just demand stupid money.
Don't care.
I know.
He'll go to
Off the
China.
cake.
I think he will end up in China.
Pep's managed him perfectly.
And
he's
I
not even a
think-
thing anymore.
One that stands out for me is Jack Wilshere because I think that depends on the
yeah,
Arsenal
that
manager.
depends on the Arsenal manager.
Because there's
Shows glimpses of being a great midfielder for 3 games and then kind of goes quiet for 3. So he's a hot and cold player.
I just,
He's on the injury table.
That is
after
true, but you know, like he could easily fit into another Premier League club. Maybe not this. I don't think he'll got the same stature as Arsenal. Maybe
yeah.
a team like an Everton or something like that.
I could even see him going foreign. Honestly, I could see him moving leagues. I feel like he would be the sort of player to go out his comfort zone in
Follow
order to prove
the,
people
follow the
wrong.
path of the trailblazer Liam Henderson.
That's it. Barry Faithful.
What
I
about Ander
think
Herrera?
Rafinha's kind of showed last week this time up.
Rafinha's never been good.
See,
His time at Bayern Munich.
He was
sucked.
always
I
a
get
deputy
shocked.
for Philip
Was it
Lam.
not?
Yeah,
he
he never was.
I get shocked when you said Rafinha there, Nathan, because I thought you were on about the
No, no.
Rafinha Alcantara,
No.
the one that's at
was
Inter now.
the Real Madrid goal not Rafinha's fault?
Yeah. I think
He gave
annoying.
gave it right to.
His brother's
Isco,
better.
wasn't
Marouane
Well,
Fellaini, I'm kind of torn on. We know he's in negotiations, but the offer's been on the table for ages. They offered him 125k and he rejected it.
Where
He's
else
not
is he
gonna
going to
get
get
better money,
125k?
I know.
China.
What
He
about
must. He
Ander
must
Herrera?
realise he's a bit part player.
I know he doesn't want to realise that he is. He wants kind of more appreciation. But
We'll go to West Brom in the Championship for like
I
50
know.
grand a week if they're going to pay him that, because Claudio Jakob's out of contract, and I'm really excited
Don't
that he comes
assume
to
that
Kilmarnock.
West Brom aren't in the Championship yet. Don't assume.
I'm not-
You never know.
Luke
Well,
Shaw,
if Swansea win this week, and that's him,
the Luke Shaw kind
get
of
a point.
situation just hurts me a little bit because
I feel sorry for the boy.
I can see him going to Spurs if Danny Rose leaves.
I again don't care.
Yeah,
I'm
He's shown
so
what he can do.
uninterested
You're here for the
in-
Celtic.
He's-
I'm
he was-
so- I'm so uninterested.
if it's
in
not
English
Celtic for ban, it
right
doesn't
backs.
matter.
Continental
at
man.
seven
I'm a
at
continental man.
17 years old, this kid was in the PFA Team of the Year,
And the game Balaguer, this team.
and he moves.
Continental man.
His first season, he's not up to fitness, which was obvious. And then
Yeah.
his second season, the first 5 games, he was man of the match in them all. Breaks his leg against PSV, and then in that season with Van Gaal said at the start of the season, this will be the season of Luke Shaw. First 5 games he plays, then he breaks his leg, and then that season Man United was so bad that Luke Shaw ended up being the average top performer.
You feel sorry for Luke Shaw with the injuries he's had, because you see at Southampton, he just showed how class a player he was, defensively and going forward. I still think he's a good left back, but I just think see if he just had a spell where he wasn't injured, then he could get maybe a run of
But
games under him.
he has, and Mourinho's persisted with that. Ashley Young is not a footballer.
I just hate Ashley Young. I just hate him.
Yeah,
I just
Ashley-
think he's a dick. He is a dick.
Wow.
Like, you just
He
not
is,
been
but
given
see when you
options.
go and you watch, like everybody knows. I mean, see when you go
What's
watch.
your profanity?
No, but when
Ronnie?
you see when you, as a Celtic fan, when you go to whoever it is, you just know that one team, that guy's a dick.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Speaking of dicks,
You said Limbo.
Johan Kabay and Hatem Ben Arfa.
Both again irrelevant.
Yeah, just don't really.
Doesn't matter.
Who
does it?
cares?
Kabay
Is
kind of came in with a lot of
is
fanfare
anyone
at
going to
Crystal
take a
Palace.
chance
It's
on
like,
them at all?
what's he done?
Didn't do much.
He's
did
not
he?
really
But
done
then
much.
shown by a Chelsea loan.
Loftus-Cheek is a class player though.
Hatem Ben Arfa always comes out in the French press saying how good is at football and how he should be at Real Madrid and
Mhm.
Barcelona.
Aye.
That's
So-
slap in the face.
That's what he says. He says he's at Nice and stuff, and he says, "Oh, I should be playing for
Yeah.
Barcelona. I should be winning the Ballon d'Or." He's done f all, and he's done
Aye.
nothing.
See,
scored
see if you're
that
his
goal
manager, would
for
you not just
Newcastle.
hook him and say, "Go, what are you
Aye.
doing, you idiot?"
He scored that goal for Newcastle where he basically ripped apart the whole other team.
Do you
That
think
was
Claude Puel would bring him to Leicester?
I don't think Claude Puel will be at Leicester next season, to be honest with you.
Big predictions there.
Because you would thinking after the summer Mahrez finally goes.
Well, they can't keep him hostage forever.
Right, we're finishing the last one. Emery Chan, is he staying or is he going Juventus?
Oh, he's going.
You've
I think he's going to
Absolutely.
Juventus.
Going.
Going.
And it's a no-brainer. Because they'll get Naby Keita coming in as well, so...
Yeah, their midfield's stacked.
Just before we go, we get some second leg predictions for the Champions League. Is that you, Hammy?
Oh, put me under the spot. I think Roma are going to win, but I don't think they're going to go through. I think Liverpool will score, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 Roma victory.
Ryan?
I'll go for a 2-1 Liverpool.
1-0 Liverpool.
See, I want to say 3-0 Roma, but Klopp's shown that they can attack again in a second leg because they done it against Man City.
Yeah.
I think it depends whether Di Francesco plays 3 or 4 at the back.
Depends what Liverpool defence turns up.
That's true.
I'm going to be bold and say 3-0 Roma. Forza Roma.
Aye,
Well, Liverpool, their only fit
Liverpool.
midfielders now are Henderson and Henderson went off, so they'll have
Wijnaldum.
Milner and Wijnaldum.
If Roma win the mid,
Pellegrini 9 goal
if Roma win the
Wijnaldum's never
midfield,
scored an
then-
away goal.
Pellegrini 9 goal and then
I want to
Robson
say
never
3-0 Roma, but I think it'll be 2-1 Roma. Or 2-0.
I
I
hope
think
Roma
they'll
will
miss
score.
it.
Salah's pretty used to scoring in that stadium.
Mhm.
He's only done it for 2 seasons.
Mm.
So I can't see him not scoring in games now.
And just Real Madrid game, Ryan, what do you think about Real Madrid Bayern Munich game?
I think Bayern Munich will win the game, but I think Real Madrid will go through. So 2-1.
That'll take it to extra time, Ryan.
Would it?
The saves go for the first leg.
No, that's one of the both are out.
Oh, wow.
That's what I was meaning.
Aye,
Real
no.
Madrid will win in penalties.
2-0 Real Madrid.
Yeah, 2-0 Ronaldo.
Cristiano
2-0 Ronaldo brace.
Yeah, the Champions League's Ronaldo's big project, isn't it? He loves scoring that, so I don't see him
Absolute
getting
shite
that.
the first leg, mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, still get through, but so I mean, I think Ronaldo's going to be his usual self and get them through. So I'll go for a 2-0 Real Madrid.
I'll go 3 on Real Madrid. I think Bayern will score, but Ronaldo in Champions League is just disgusting.
Especially at the Bernabeu.
Yeah.
And that finalises the second edition of the 2Touch podcast.
It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure, Trips.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.